First up the staff, and then the non-medal winning players, and now we are into the business. Alisson, considered by many the missing piece.
Well, you have to go back to Kiev and that horrible night for Loris Karius, and Liverpool had to do something about that position, and Alisson has delivered spectacularly for them.
Adrian has deputised more than he might have expected right from the very first night here, when he came on against Norwich City, and when he has deputised, he has done so ably. But perhaps there is no deputy anywhere for Virgil van Dijk. Composure itself, utterly imperturbable.
He's the Anfield Rock of that defence. He has made a remarkable difference on the football pitch, and not just because of his football, his composure, but his leadership, his command. A stunning introduction.
Roberto Firmino took the wrong turn. He certainly didn't this evening when he rose high to pummel in an Alexander-Arnold cross. Liverpool's number 9 with a proper centre-forwards goal. Well, we will certainly remember the goals of Fabinho this season. When he scores, he doesn't do half a job. He lets rip. Wijnaldum on the score sheet tonight as well. And he's got the showbiz shades.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, he's trying to look super cool. And to be honest, he's pulled it off.
It has the look of a rock concert, this. With the light show. And he has the look of a rock star. Well, if Firmino and Salah don't get you, Sadio Mane will. The Holy Trinity up front for Liverpool has surpassed anything anyone else has to offer. His sheer dynamism, his different level. What a call for navigators tonight. He chose his night all right. Feeling the fun, feeling the rhythm. Joe Gomez has grown into his Liverpool first team shirt. Van Dijk's preferred partner, and for good reason.
He has it all, and he has a huge career ahead of him, Joe Gomez.
Well, you'd recruit Divock Origi if only to play in the derby. Everton light up his eyes. He scores special goals in the special games. An understudy, but an understudy who knows the lines. We feel special delight for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's missed so much in his career, not least since he came to Liverpool. Missed the European night, but scored on the Premier League party night. Tried taking that one away from him. And then there's the Scouser. Of them all, he is the one who can say, I was born to this. My club, my city. Thank you, boss.
Alexander-Arnold, Route 66. What a player, what a talent.
And from right to left, they have become twins. What one does, the other matches. The coverage of yards, of miles, week on week, month on month, by those fullbacks is beyond ordinary. As indeed is James Milner, as ordinarily as he tries to portray himself. This now is a 3-time champion of England.
What an example he is. Just try to match his professionalism and you'll have quite a career.
And lovely that he gets his moment too. A man for whom so much affection at this club. A career here career to some extent interrupted by injury, but he played his part. Nobody will ever rob him of that goal at Old Trafford in the title year. Lovren sturdily to a part of a Liverpool backline which at times this season has felt impenetrable. And then there's Mo, as if you could forget. Tiptoeing up on another 20-goal season in the Premier League, and this time a season that is adorned with a medal.
A smile on Mo Salah, as wide as Anfield.
Matip, the other centre-half, they've had options there, and sometimes this season they have needed options. They've turned for those four, and none has let them down. Minamino's still learning the Anfield way, but he will learn. Liverpool's recruitment has been brilliant of late, and the early signs are that this won't be a dud either. Once he feels part of the scenery, once he's scoring his goals, he will have something to add. Xherdan Shaqiri, well, he had his moment in the derby too. A trickster who's had to wait in the shadows this year, but gets his moment in front of the lights now. And Nico Williams, another for whom the decade ahead could be something enviable. When he has had his minutes towards the end, he has looked entirely at home. Curtis Jones played the game tonight that enables him to step forward now, embrace a man he would never have seen play, and gather the medal of which at the start of this campaign he surely cannot have dreamt. And finally, Jordan Henderson, 30 years old, the 30 years. The captain, a Dalglish investment, once doubted by some. The boy born in Sunderland in the summer of 1990 when Liverpool last ruled the land, and who grew one day to lift the European Cup, and a year later to follow now in the fabled footsteps of Ron Yates and Tommy Smith, Evan Hughes and Phil Thompson, Graham Souness and Alan Hansen to skip a Liverpool to the title. At the end of the season they feared may never end. The longest wait, a generation on and more, for the 19th time in their history, for the first time in the Premier League, in the never-to-be-forgotten year of 2020, the champions of England again at last are Liverpool. And right now, they are the champions of the world, they are the champions of Europe, and they are the champions of their own land. In this moment, no bird flies higher than the liver bird. No club anywhere carries the kudos of Liverpool Football Club. Game for game, the quickest champions of the Premier League era, and yet the latest. Not 30 years of hurt, 30 years through which twice they have conquered Europe. They've won the UEFA Cup, 3 FA Cups, 4 League Cups. They've not been hurting, but how they have been itching. And Jim, he brought it them.
He did. It's a club that will always succeed at a certain level, Peter, no matter what happens. But the bread and butter has always been the league, whether it be the First Division back in the day or whether it's the Premier League of today, and this is historic. This is hugely emotional. But those guys under Jurgen Klopp have been absolutely sensational, and you can't deny them the joy they're experiencing right now. This is what it's all about. This is what all the blood, sweat and tears goes into.
Liverpool, the 5th different champion in 8 years. Is there another major European league which competes with such variety and such depth as the English Premier League? This year, a league that belongs to Klopp and Kop. Liverpool, who had the thought, had the consideration to understand that this is for their people and it should be lifted on their people's patch. They chose to take hold of this trophy where their fans embrace them. Feels so churlish in these celebratory moments to throw ahead too far, because these are moments that must be cherished here, now, kept in their very hearts, in their very souls. But at some point they're going to have to settle, put their medals down and wonder, Jim, what's next?
Well, it was always the way it was done. We were told back in the day that once we received our medals that we could show them to our grandchildren. Don't look at them that much, and I think Jurgen Klopp might be giving them the same message in time to come.
But not tonight.
But not tonight. They'll enjoy it for a week or two, Peter, and then it all starts again.
But tonight, the glitz, the glamour, the fireworks, the light show, the medal, the trophy, the champions, Liverpool.
The moment that football club and that group of players have waited so long for. Michael, you came through the ranks of that club. You, like hundreds of others, tried to deliver that moment and couldn't. What's your overriding emotion watching that set of players and that man with that smile? Moment, so too are the players. In fact, he's told the players to drink this in. Joe, when you do get this moment and you do get that medal round your neck, what is it? Put it into words for us.
It's different for everybody. For me, when I won it at Chelsea, I was a Chelsea supporter as a kid, so it was extra special. You look at someone like Curtis Jones as well, for the young players. This is the start of your journey. Then you've got someone like James Milner, who's done it twice before with another club, but to do it with Liverpool is extra special because of the size of the club, because of the weight. I think Jurgen's got it right. Let him drink it in and maybe drink something else as well tonight. But what a unique way to celebrate, in the times we're in at the moment, because what them boys, there won't be too many places for them to creep off to. They'll be together through the night. They'll be partying. You just got to drink it in and take in the moment, because it will stay with you for the rest of your life. And it's a fantastic time. And you look at the smiles on their faces. Jurgen's always smiling anyway, but even he looks like he's smiling a little bit more.
But as he was saying to me earlier on, Michael, the hours he put in when he first got the job, it was 20 hours of watching DVDs and analysing and getting up to speed. He'd gone from that in October 2015 to the disappointment of last season to this moment, winning it in record time and getting his hands on that trophy and ending that year, 30-year wait.
Steve, I was there on the day he first signed. Actually, I was at the academy watching a youth game, and all of a sudden, popped Jurgen Klopp, and I saw him on the balcony. He was talking to all the staff there, and you just knew straight away that he wants to be part of the whole thing. He's not just happy coaching the first team. He wants to know what's happening down at the academy. He wants to know everybody's name in the backroom staff. I mean, the interview you did with him last week was just so revealing, I felt. And even then, I was just watching it a minute ago, and he was grabbing one of the masseurs that I know, and he was pushing him to the front, almost saying, this is for you as well. These people, work so hard, tirelessly. In fact, they do more hours than those players on the show, and they deserve the moment as well. So, great times, as I said earlier, these moments you will never ever forget, and don't ever forget, because they don't come around too often and fully justified.
They hope there's more to follow, Joe. You were lucky enough to win 3, but you were saying earlier on the first one, the first time you experienced it, which most of these players are, is extra special.
It's extra special, you know. We grow up with that famous trophy, you know, seeing the great captains lift it. It's in your determination. Everything you do as a kid, you know, Jurgen Klopp talked about the hours he put in 2015 when he arrived. But as a player, it's from the earliest memories of when you're kicking a ball and you're sitting there watching your TV and you're watching these players, your heroes, lift these trophies, and you're just thinking, one day I'd love to be there. One day, if I'm lucky enough, I'll be the chance to step on that pitch and win something. And then all of a sudden, this day is there, and you've done it. And emotional, you know, your family are with you, the journey you've come through, your teammates are with you in that bubble. You know, just looking back, you start remembering little things of the seasons when we did it, and yeah, it's incredible times. And you know, if I could speak to any of them lads now, I'd be saying, listen, exactly what the gaffer said to you: drink it in, enjoy it. You know, because you'll be sitting hopefully in a studio or somewhere in 20 years' time and thinking back the times when we was lucky enough to do that.
The famous "You'll Never Walk Alone" played as they savour that moment. Their families are inside the stadium as well. And of course that famous Champions wall down the tunnel at Anfield that they've walked past, all of these players as Liverpool players, not league champions, and seen the other 18. It's important to embrace history at a club. It's nice to put your own mark on it as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's been a long time coming, as we've seen, and you can't help but be inspired when you see that Champions wall. I was only at Melwood a few weeks ago, and I was talking to Jamie Carragher, and I said, do you know what? It's the first time I've ever looked at the wall there and counted how many trophies that we were involved in, or I was involved in personally. And he looked at me and he said, do you know what? I did that about 5 minutes ago. I was doing exactly the same. It matters, it means something to have your imprint on the team. You know, those guys in
How special is that?
Special, and that's something to think that is fine. As a football supporter, you know, some of the most emotional nights as a player, some good, some bad, playing against Liverpool mainly, and even some of the nights I actually played for the club, you know, with them. In unique times, you know, you can't share it with the fans as we would like, but still special moments. And Kenny there, I mean, he looked emotional on the day that they finally clinched it, and I think he looks emotional again. It's a club rich in tradition and connected to their city like no other, and what a day for everyone there.
They all want the trophy. Just a word for the man who did lift it, Jordan Henderson. What a 12 months he's had lifting the Champions League, the Super Cup, the World Club Cup, and now the biggest one of all in terms of domestic success.
I mean, it's virtually impossible to lift all of those cups in a career, let alone in the year that he's had it. I mean, the most famous trophies, virtually every one of them, he's lifted over his head in the last 12 months or so. And he has developed into some player. I mean, early on in his career, there was some disparaging words said about him. He's had thick skin, he's ploughed through, he's done his job. Sadly for him, unfortunately for him, he was compared to Steven Gerrard a lot of the time just because of the time he got into the team, which was grossly unfair. But he's not the next Steven Gerrard, he is Jordan Henderson, and what a fantastic player, what a fantastic person he is.
And leader, Joe.
Yeah, and I played with Jordan at Liverpool, and Michael's right, there was some disparaging words and, you know, unkind words said about him because he's always been a talented player. But He's the sort of lad, if you take him into any academy, anywhere, not only in England, but anywhere in the world, and put him up as a beacon, as an example of how you come back from, you know, any of the knockbacks that we all get as footballers, and how you keep getting stronger and keep getting strong, keep developing your game. Jordan Henderson is that player. I mean, it's not right to compare him to Steven Gerrard. He's made his own path now, and he's the captain after 30 years that's delivered the trophy to Liverpool. And he's a credit. He's a fantastic player, and he's a very nice guy, and couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yeah, that's some trophy list that he has certainly lifted in the last 12 minutes. Well, let's snip back to Anfield, shall we? Maka, Steve McManaman and Manish have somebody with them.
Delighted to say we can get the reaction from Trent Alexander-Arnold, who joins us now. Trent, I don't know if you can hear us right now, but how does it feel to finally get that medal around your neck?
Listen, I think as a club we've waited so long for this. I think us players, we want to deliver for the fans, we want to make them feel special and make it worthwhile. So I think, obviously disappointed that they can't be here tonight, but I think to finally deliver something that they've waited so long for. This was the one that everyone wanted, and I think last year was a disappointment not being able to win it, but I think this year's been so special for us. We're over the moon without it.
But as a local lad who's come through the academy, it must mean so much more to you.
Of
course it does. Come on.
Yeah. I think I know more than probably the rest of the lads in terms of how much the fans really wanted this, and